Good morning, all. I wonder how you all are today. One of my pleasures in lockdown has been that I've most days had my daily walk, which has been a delight. And when I go walking somewhere that is off the beaten track or a walk that's more than about an hour or so, I always take my walking rucksack with me, um, which normally travels either in the boot of the car or hangs on a peg in the back porch. This is my walking rucksack, and it is full of a whole load of stuff. So I have my water. What else? Spare hat. Fruit. Scarf. Oh, cashew nuts. Trail bar. Dried banana and apple. Insect repellent. Suntan lotion. Wet wipes. First aid kit. It's still going. Foil blanket. Second first aid kit, perhaps a little excessive. Triangular bandage. You can do lots with a triangular bandage. Emergency blanket stroke bivy bag. Oh, another cereal bar. Torch. Matches and candles. Camera. Micropore tape. Foam seating pad. Wrist guards. Tissues. Hand cream. Hand warmers. Whistle. Pen. Spare Ventolin. More crunchy bars. Front pocket that was. Hand gel. More wet wipes. Some spare change. Another crunchy bar. I think that's about it. Oh, pen, pencil. Yeah, that's about it. As you can see, I carry quite a lot with me when I go walking. Some of it is necessary, if a little excessive in the minds of some, such as a first aid kit, although two, even by my standards, it's a bit excessive. The bandage, the bivy bag, the whistle, the torch, spare Ventolin, water. Other bits are there for my pleasure and enjoyment. A foam mat to sit on, the trail mix, cameras, the energy bars, the tissues, and other bits are not there because they're necessary, but actually probably out of fear. So the hat and the scarf. I usually have a map, even on a well-known walk. My pen, pencil, and my notepad, just in case of what, I'm not sure. The insect repellent and the suntan lotion, which is there even in the middle of winter. I'm actually, having emptied it, beginning to wonder how I managed to walk with it on. But when I go walking, this is a load that I choose to carry. Some of it is sensible, some of it is not. It's my choice. Some people may see it as overkill, while others might actually see it as not being prepared enough. Others might wonder why I choose to burden myself with all of that, even on a short walk. And when I go walking with others who probably carry some of the same stuff, I still generally carry my rucksack. I'm used to it, and the weight of it is normal for me. I don't even consider sharing the weight or the burden, even when it might be sensible for me to do so, because the burden makes me feel safe and in control. And I actually only notice its weight when I take it off my back and sit down for lunch. We all have burdens of different shapes and sizes, and sometimes what others see as a burden is to us a joy, and what others see as a joy is a burden. Sometimes what people see as a burden is what we see as necessary for life. If I must go walking by myself, then I must take precautions. What is a burden to you might not be to others, and vice versa. Burdens are intensely personal things, and you alone knows what weighs you down if you stop and think about it. Often we don't acknowledge our burdens because we don't want to complain or moan. It's the stoic stiff upper lip syndrome. Sometimes we don't recognise that they're burdens until we're released from them. Some of us carry small individual burdens that cause us to walk through life with a little hindrance. There are others who carry lots of small burdens, and the collective weight of those burdens can become too much for us to carry. Some of us carry much larger burdens that simply become too much to bear. You may carry a burden that has come to you completely outside of your control, and you might not know how much that burden is weighing you down until you suddenly realise its weight has become unbearable. And often it's not something major which causes you to feel that, to stumble, to not want to carry on, but it's something small that is the trigger point. Now, this is the point where a lot of sermons would tell you that all you have to do is hand your burdens over to Jesus. But I think that misses a couple of stages out. I think the first question that we have to ask ourselves is, what are our burdens? Because unless we stop and pause and think, we can keep going through life regardless, our rucksack of burdens getting heavier. So what are you burdened by today? What is weighing you down? Doesn't matter how small or how large it is. Anyone who has ever had a tiny pebble in their shoe will know how painful a small extra burden can be. The next question to ask is, what do you want to do about them? Do your burdens make you feel in control? Do they weigh you down? What would it feel like to share the weight of them with someone else? Or for someone else to take the weight off you completely? Who do you trust enough to share your burdens? There are very few burdens that we need to carry alone. They can often be shared with others if we're willing to share them. They're rarely solved through a quick flick of the fingers or by platitudes. But one of the points of today's readings is that there is somebody absolutely trustworthy who's willing to take your burdens on, if you trust him enough. Jesus says, "Come to me, all who labour and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." You'll note that Jesus doesn't give us a list of directions to follow to ease our burdens or offer us a path to peace and enlightenment. He doesn't encourage this or that mindfulness technique. Not that there's anything wrong with those as tools to help you live. But Jesus asks just one thing of us to relieve our burdens, that we are prepared to hand them over to him, to trust him with them, to allow him to be in control, not us. Jesus will not reach out and take from us what we are not prepared to offer to him. This is a choice we have to make. Are we prepared to trust him with all of our lives, not just the good bits, but the difficult portions? Are we prepared to hand control to him? It takes an act of our own will to give up our burdens. We can sit in the presence of God and hear him speaking to us and be soothed, but if we want to be relieved of our burdens, as against just soothed in our pain, if we want to be relieved of the things that weigh us down mentally and physically, we have to choose to hand them over to God. We have to lay down those things which cause us pain. Now, this doesn't automatically mean that everything will suddenly be okay. The act of handing things over to Jesus may just be the beginning for you. It might be that handing things over gives you the confidence to seek help with the practicalities elsewhere. That in handing control to Jesus, you allow his hands and his feet, his people in the world, to help you. It might be the right thing for you to seek further assistance in finding complete peace. Or it may be that a simple act of faith and surrender is all that is needed. When I'm walking, especially by a watercourse, there's an action I sometimes choose to do. I find a pebble or small stone. I hold it in my hand as I talk to God, as I tell him my inmost thoughts, as I bring him my problems, my emotions, and my desires, as I place my burdens in his hands. And when I finish praying, I'll do one of two things. Either I will put the stone in the river as a symbol of being washed by God, or I'll take it home with me as a reminder that God has been handed this and he is in control, not me. You might like to try a similar exercise at home. Find an anonymous looking pebble or stone, no distinguishing marks. Hold it in your hand tightly and talk to God about your life. Then either throw it away somewhere where you won't discover it again, or keep it in a place where you can see or touch it, reminding yourself that God is in control now. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you that are heavy laden, and I will give you peace." Today, there is this invitation for you. What do you choose to do? Amen.